transmission of heat. An object moves and gets displaced when force is applied to it. Energy is needed for the work that is done when displacement occurs. The capacity to do work is called energy. Heat is a form of energy. There are many substances around us. We can tell by touching a substance whether it is hot or cold. However, we cannot tell how many times the substance is hotter or cooler than another. Temperature is an indicator of heat in a substance. Heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. This is called as the transfer of heat. There are three ways by which the transfer of heat from one place to another takes place. First, conduction. Second, convection. Third, radiation. Conduction of heat. The transfer of heat from one end of a substance to another is called conduction of heat. The substance through which the conduction of heat takes place faster in a copper rod. Copper is a better conductor of heat than iron. The solid substances like copper, iron and aluminium are made up of small particles. These particles are capable of little movements. This is called the vibration of these particles. The vibration of these particles increases when they get heat and heat is transferred from one particle to the neighboring particle. The time taken for the conduction of heat depends upon the vibration of the particles of the medium. If the particles of the medium are too close to each other, then the speed of conduction is greater, and if the particles are further apart, conduction takes place slowly. A medium is necessary for the conduction of heat. The speed of conduction of heat depends upon the medium. The particles of the medium do not leave their own place, but they only vibrate. Convection of heat. Heat is transferred from downwards to upwards by means of currents. These currents are called as convection currents. The transfer of heat in this way is called as convection. Convection can take place only in liquid and gaseous media. A medium is necessary for convection. In this process, the particles of the medium leave their original place and participate in the convection current. The convection current always travels from downwards to upwards. Radiation of heat. The transfer of heat, even in the absence of medium, is called as radiation of heat. Every warm substance continuously emits heat in all directions around itself. When this radiated heat falls on some substance, some of it gets reflected while some is absorbed. This absorbed heat increases the temperature of this substance. Black color absorbs more heat than white color. The thermos flask. It consists of two thin glass bottles fitted one into another. The inner surface of both these bottles is shiny like a mirror. A vacuum is created in a space between the two bottles. A plastic lid is fitted on the mouth of the bottle. The hot things remain hot and the cold things remain cold in the thermos flask. The temperature of the substance placed in the thermos flask does not change for a long time. As there is a vacuum between the two glass bottles of the thermos flask, conduction and convection of heat does not take place. The heat is reflected back inside from the shiny surfaces. Glass and plastic are used in the thermos flask because glass and plastic are bad conductors of heat. Thus, heat transfer does not take place from them by any of the modes of transfer of heat. Thermoware. It consists of an outer box and lid made up of plastic, and inner box is made up of a shiny metal. There is air between the two boxes. Since air is a bad conductor of heat, heat is not lost by either conduction or convection. Also, the shiny surface of the inner box prevents radiation of heat. The substances through which heat travels easily and quickly are called as the good conductors of heat. Copper, iron, aluminium, and all other metals are good conductors of heat. The substances through which heat travels very slowly are known as bad conductors of heat. Sawdust, cotton cloth, wood, glass, soil are bad conductors